Before the show, we asked our audience how much debt they were in. Well, these 15 people right here have zero. All right, everybody have a seat, and we can start hating on these people. All right, the rest are in debt for a grand total of $29,336,274. Almost $30 million out of just this audience. Now, that's not unusual. We're starting a money series called Money Matters, Surviving the Crisis. Okay, now we all know that right now many families are really having a difficult time, right? We know that mortgages are getting foreclosed at record highs. Gas is just through the roof. And a lot of families, more than you might think, and perhaps some of you, are one paycheck away from disaster, from being on the street. So how do you survive the storm? Well, today I'm going to talk about what I believe are the 5 biggest money mistakes that you might be making right now as we sit here today. I'm counting down to number 1 throughout the show. If you avoid these things, you can have a whole different outcome. Now first, Brandy and Greg say they were living the American dream. I'm talking big house, a boat, 4 beautiful children, and a combined income of close to $250,000. Seemingly plenty of money for eating out, movies, family vacations, but was it really enough? He worked as a mortgage loan officer and she a mortgage processor. Now it comes to this for Brandy and Greg.
We have $40 or $30 in the bank, and you spend $25.20 at Wings.
When's the last time I did something like that?
I haven't done anything like that.
When's the last time I did something like that?
Greg, it's not
Just
the point.
tell me.
It's not the point. The point was we had $40 in our checking account. That could have fed us 4 dinners.
Okay, those were home cameras that we put in the home to just kind of see what was going on. And we're seeing how suffering through a money crisis is affecting this marriage. Now, Brandy and Greg have been married for 7 years. They've maxed out all their credit cards and owe family and friends $28,000. Now, their one-time $250,000 income has now shrunk to nothing. I mean, zero. Now, Brandy says the stress is taking a toll on her and her marriage.
You wonder how you got there, and it's overwhelming. It's sheer panic. I mean, that's almost $1 million in debt. It is so unsettling. I don't sleep at night.
Up until 2 years ago, living on a 6-figure income and then going to, very minimal now has really taken a toll on my pride. It just hits me that I feel like a loser.
Greg has had a history of abandoning me in difficult times. Sometimes I feel like I have to walk on eggshells because I fear that he is going to leave.
I do think that our financial situation has driven us apart. I feel like we're a runaway train about to go off the track because we're right on the edge of losing everything.
Guys, tell me why you wanted to be here and or are willing to be here.
I really want to learn where we've gone wrong and what we can do to go forward and get ourselves out of the mess.
First thing I want to talk about before we even get to the money is what's happening in the relationship. Because if you go to lawyers in America, divorce lawyers, family law, and say, what's the number 1 complaint you get? It's money. They're fighting over money. It's what I call non-directional frustration. It's like, you're really mad about this, aren't you? You don't like it, you feel bad about yourself. I mean, how do you feel about having 4 children and a wife and you can't make it work?
It hurts my ego so bad because, I feel like I should be the provider. And it's hard.
When I look at the numbers each month of how much debt we have, I feel utter despair. I feel like a loser. I look at my kids going, my girls can go to preschool. They don't understand why. My son can't do these things. He gets why because he's older. He knows it's money. Their birthdays come up. We don't have anything. Logan's birthday's Saturday. We don't have a single thing for her. I don't even have a party planned for her. It's just overwhelming to be so in debt and there's no way out. How do you not feel like just a failure to them? You try to figure out how you got in such a big mess.
That's really hard for you to watch. Why? What do you say to yourself when you watch that?
I really feel like I should have done a lot of things different. I know we had certain circumstances that led to the situation, but, you know, like I say, to be the provider and to see my wife like that really hurts.
If there's a way out of this, are you willing to do what it takes?
Absolutely.
I mean, if there's a way out of it relationally, if there's a way out of it financially, if there's a way to turn this around, are y'all willing to do what it takes?
Yes.
This situation was dead long before you declared it dead. You didn't have money before you were out of money. You were broke before you were broke. And how many times have you refinanced your house?
2 times.
Twice.
Twice. So you owe almost twice what it's worth, right? 50, 60% more than it's worth. Okay, so for a number of years, like over a 4-year period, you were living on borrowed money. You were borrowing money to go to the grocery store. So you haven't just been bleeding in the last 3-6 months, you've been bleeding for 4 years. You just didn't declare it. That's denial, right? And you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. You can't fix what you don't change. It's not too late. It's never too late. Money's the cheapest commodity we got because you can regenerate. You can have a whole bunch of money and lose it, and then you can get a whole bunch more, and then you can lose it, you get a whole bunch more. You can keep recycling that. The only ego problem you should have is if you don't have the guts to face the truth now.
It's no secret now.
You were broke 4 years ago. You just didn't declare it. You just borrowed money and pretended you weren't.
Right.
But didn't you know it? I mean, didn't you feel it closing around you?
I did. I just thought I could run faster and harder and earn the money that we were earning, and it would all be okay.
Yeah, you can run, but you'll just die tired. Yeah, at some point, you got to stop and let the beast catch up with you. Turn around and say, okay, what are we going to do here?
Their account hasn't had a payment in a while, and it's your responsibility to get this account paid down.
Creditors call from 8 in the morning until almost 9 o'clock at night, all throughout the day.
It is imperative that this needs to change today and it needs to be paid right away.
It got to be such a problem that we ended up unplugging the home phone. They will just downright harass you. It's just nonstop all day long. You can't live that way, and it's so disturbing.
Well, that was Brandy listening to voicemails. They're left by creditors demanding their money. It's just relentless, bang, bang, bang. They get 20 collector calls at all times, even Easter Sunday. Laura, don't they have to stop this?
They have to do some sort of a workout. And, you know, you can run from creditors, but you can't run from your credit score. And I know I bring that back because it's about you being able to get into an apartment or even rent a house.
At this point, you're not making much of any money in the market you're in because it's just deader than a hammer, right?
Right. I'm still in the mortgage business, and I'm making a draw of very little a month.
Yeah, but that draws against earnings, so you're going in the hole.
Yes.
Right.
I'm going negative now, right?
You're going negative, so it's costing you $1,000 a month to go to work?
Right.
Okay, so you're paying them to let you show up. Okay, and you have worked in the past, but you don't now, and you say you don't want her to because it'll create more chaos?
It's very chaotic at our house to keep everything running smoothly, and
I completely disagree.
but I thought it would interfere also maybe with my job at night if she's going to work, because sometimes I have to call clients at night or meet with clients.
There aren't perfect solutions, but one of the things that Laurel has talked about is you've got to create new money, right?
You have to. And she's proven in the past she can do it, Dr. Phil. She's watched another family. 5 days a week, she cleaned another family's house, did all their cleaning, then came home and did hers. So she's proven she knows how to make money, and that was way undercharged. I mean, she should be making $500, $600, $700 a week doing that. She could go back to that. She's also helped in the past with Greg's business, which is another option. So instead of seeing it interfering with Greg's business, she could help be on phone calls, doing the lead generation. There's a lot that these guys can do together to really generate some real cash
And you
again.
can do some of these things from home. But look, here's the thing. This is about survival.
I'm standing in front of the Harper House, 5,500 square feet. It's enormous and beautiful. As you pan the neighborhood, you can see in comparison the houses are a little smaller, $150,000 in value compared to the Harper home, which is currently valued at about $350,000. The original Harper home was 1,400 square feet and 1 bathroom. I'm going inside now to meet with the Harper family to find out the truth and how their life has changed since the extreme makeover. Well, Milton and Patricia, you've had quite a rocky road in the last few months. What was your mortgage before the makeover?
$1,000 a month.
What about after the makeover?
The same.
It hadn't gone up at all. Let's try to set the record straight. Right. Some of the media reporting has said you were given 25 years worth of taxes. Let's start there.
We had no cash.
You were told that your taxes weren't going to raise, and they raised to what?
About $5,000.
For the year?
Mm-hmm.
There were reports that there was a $450,000 loan or several loans.
Yes.
Okay. So we had $450,000 in loans. Now, what has happened to the mortgage since then?
$3,000.
So now we're at $3,000. Taxes the same.
Taxes, everything is.
What's the cost to maintain the house right now?
About what, $6,000, $7,000 a month.
Mm-hmm. It was also been reported that you were supposed to have an auction. You're being foreclosed.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in the media says you're millionaires. Are you? Were you ever?
Never.
Never?
Never was a millionaire.
I think you told me earlier was what, house rich, cash poor?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What were your mistakes?
My mistakes were not having the right people in my corner.
Do you need a plan?
We definitely here for help. I mean, trying to move forward and put everything else behind.
At this point, Laurel, you think if you can get some information, you can kind of figure out what the strategy would be to keep the house if that's what they want to do, and how to create the income necessary to sustain that house if that's what they want to do.
Correct. And I think, we've got to look at that. We've got to look at credit card bills. Really, I want to identify that $6,000. Is that really the amount? We want to line item that. We really want to detail that. Again, look at the spending habits. And then I want to go back to the income side. Patricia's taken on a job just recently and is making about $300 a week. I think you have more skills than $300 a week, so that's something I want to relook at with her. And then Milton, as you can see, has gone into several businesses that have failed. Doing businesses by yourself and being a lone ranger out there has not proven well. So we've either got to get a business plan for the security business he had in the past, or move on to get a job. We've really got to evaluate this income situation and whether they're going to stay.
Patricia, what do you want to say?
I believe that we just did what we were supposed to do for our family.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as the man, I have to take the bulk of this because basically Patricia she didn't really want me to do half of the things that I've done. And she was a little bit against it, but she stood behind me. Mm-hmm. And basically, like I said, I was just doing everything that I thought that I could do for my family. But instead of me pushing the business that I had already, which we wouldn't even be sitting here right now had I would have done that, but I tried to do other things.
Patricia, you feel like you've been mischaracterized in the media, right? With people suggesting that you just blew the money irresponsibly, where you feel like what you were trying to do was take a step into business and start making money and having your boys make money and do the right thing.
I just think that the media was in denial on how much it takes to maintain that size home and how much money it takes to maintain that size home.
Did Extreme Home Makeover give you a $100,000 home maintenance fund?
A fund, yes.
They gave you a fund of $100,000 to maintain the home?
Yes.
And did they set up a $25,000 scholarship?
Yes.
Okay.
But that was what we used to pay the house off. They didn't pay off the house.
They didn't pay off that.
There's reports, they paid off our house. They gave us $200,000 in cash, It was nothing like that.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.